Humanity is shifting into a new paradigm of reality. The new Earth paradigm will exist simultaneously to the old Earth paradigm. These are simply two different ways of perceiving the world. All human suffering is caused by the immature belief in good and evil. The belief in good and evil is simply a way of perceiving the world, and it is immature because it fails to accept the complete reality as a part of one source, a part of one creative power. An example I like to think of is people are familiar with the Star Wars mythology or the Star Wars spirituality, where there's a force that connects everything. It flows through us. It informs us. It moves us, and it is also moved by us. Well, the force in reality is neither good nor evil. It is simply a moving force that is like the waves of an ocean. The waves of an ocean do not pass judgment. They simply move according to the laws of nature. And if you can align with that, then they will carry you forward. And so our suffering is caused when we look out at the world and we see things that we think should not be. And that causes us to feel disconnected from source. It causes us to feel a split between our imagination and the creative power of what is, of I am that I am, the infinite creative being. And so the new paradigm of the new earth is simply a realignment with what is and the beauty, power, creativity, and intelligence of source. And so when we realign with this reality, with this truth, the entire world becomes nothing but beauty, harmony, creativity, intelligence, perfection, and it is glorious. And the experience of that is nothing but blissful and amazing and completely rapturous. So the new earth paradigm is a paradigm of complete joy and a feeling of ecstasy in every moment and unconditional love, right? So you can think of the difference between these two paradigms as, I'll give you an example of something in my childhood, right? So I liked to play, me and my friends would play hide and seek. And, the way you play hide and seek is you find a good hiding spot. So I would hide in a room all by myself, all alone for up to an hour, right? And it was so fun. During that time where I was hiding in the room, I was excited. I was filled with anticipation. I was having a great time, And I remember one time I came home late. I was supposed to be home by the time the street lights came on, so before dark. And I was having so much fun that I came home late. And I got in trouble by my parents. And my parents sent me to my room. So I got sent to my room. I was in the room by myself. And I was experiencing the exact same experience. But the meaning that I attached to that experience was different. And so I was unhappy. I was sad. I was on punishment. The two experiences were the same, but the meaning that I attached to them were different. And so when we attach meaning to the world and we see the world through a lens of good and evil, we see the world through a lens of this should be and this should not be, then that disconnects us from the beauty, the perfection of what is in the present moment, and the gratitude, experiencing reality in all of its glory and intelligence and being connected with that. So, as we move into the new paradigm of reality, we see everything that exists in the present moment as a perfect embodiment of the divine source, a perfect expression of truth, of a revelation of the highest self. And we become aligned with that in perfect harmony. And the feeling of that is just overwhelming joy and happiness. And so the way that we can move into that paradigm of being is simply to, there's a practice that I like to do when I feel myself becoming misaligned with the world. And the practice of bringing the new earth into existence is pretty much the law of attraction. So we've all heard of the law of attraction, right? When you vibrate at the frequency of the world that you want to bring into your life, then that attracts that world into your life. So we need to vibrate at the frequency of already being fulfilled, already being in perfection, already being in the place that we want to be in the state of beauty, in awe, and just complete alignment with the world. So a lot of people talk about the law of attraction, but people rarely talk about how to get into that state of frequency to attract the world that you want, how to get into the frequency of already being fulfilled, already being in a state of pure happiness and joy and alignment and harmony. So one of the practices that I like to go through when I feel myself, when I feel a contradiction in myself and the world, is I look out at the world. The world is a perfect mirror for who you are being. So when there is something in the world that is misaligned or that you feel is evil or wrong, then that is a reflection of a part of you that is misaligned, and or a part of you that you are in denial of or that you are ashamed of. So a practice that I use is when I feel a contradiction, I feel something in the world that I'm not accepting of, I look for that part within myself. I find that part within myself that I am that the world is reflecting, and I shine light on it. I bring it into consciousness. I am compassionate towards it. I put love on it, unconditional, non-judgmental love, and I put empathy towards it. I try to understand how that part of me has been serving me in my evolutionary past. How have my ancestors cultivated that part inside me, and how has it contributed to the survival of my DNA, right? And then I can be in gratitude towards it. I can see how that part of me is in service. It's trying to help. It's trying to contribute to my survival, to my life, to my happiness, to my expression. And then once I have brought that part of me into consciousness, I can then be in alignment with it. I can integrate it into myself, and I can co-create with it. And that is the process that I use to bring myself back into alignment with the world. And it's very powerful, and it really just brings you into a state of love and trust and compassion and empathy with yourself and with the world, and gratitude. And so I encourage people to try this practice. It's very powerful. And as we move into this new earth, we live in a paradigm where we begin to radiate this this love, this gratitude, this wholeness. And as the new earth is not some place in the future, some distant place that's far away. The new earth exists within our hearts right now. And all we have to do to experience this new earth is simply step out of our own way and stop resisting it, because it is our natural state. Imagine being a child when you're in your early childhood. You're just living in pure bliss and trust with the world. That is the natural state of who we are, is living in that paradigm. But as we are indoctrinated into society, into culture, and we're taught this idea of good and evil, 90% of our energy is spent hiding parts of ourself from our own awareness, because we're taught to be ashamed of them. We're taught that parts of us are not acceptable, that parts of us are wrong or bad. So when we release that shame, when we shine light upon our own self, we release so much creative power and so much joy and bliss and gratitude and just perfect harmony and alignment. And we let the energy, the creative force, permeate and rise up through our chakras and into our third eye, and so that we can become completely aware of who we are and in alignment with who we are and of our godhood and our creative power as co-creators of the reality that we live in. And as we as individuals begin to shift into the new earth paradigm, we inspire others around us to begin vibrating at that same frequency. And as more and more people do this, the new earth paradigm that we find within our own hearts will be cast out across the entire human consciousness, and the collective will also be raised up as a whole into this new paradigm, into this new frequency. And we will all live in beauty, harmony, bliss, gratitude, perfect connection, love, unconditional love, non-judgmental love. And we will be like the surfers on the wave of the ocean, just completely in alignment with nature, riding with the power of the universe behind us as co-creators. And that is the vision that I have for the near future. I see that we are evolving, and each individual has to make their own choice to move into this new paradigm. But this is the time. This is a time of incredible transformation, and we are moving as a collective into that paradigm now.